Most of the Afghan central bank's reserves are frozen at the Federal Reserve. And the International Monetary Fund will block more than $400 million in aid. Despite the chaotic end to its presence in Afghanistan, the United States still has control over billions of dollars belonging to the Afghan central bank, money that Washington is making sure remains out of the reach of the Taliban. About $7 billion of the central bank's $9 billion in foreign reserves are held by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the former acting governor of the Afghan central bank said, and the Biden administration has already moved to block access to that money. The Taliban's access to the other money could also be restricted by the long reach of American sanctions and influence. The central bank has $1.3 billion in international accounts, some of it euros and British pounds in European banks, the former official, Ajmal Ahmadi, said in an interview on Wednesday. Remaining reserves are held by the Swiss-based Bank for International Settlements. Mr. Ahmadi said earlier on Wednesday that the Taliban had already been asking central bank officials about where the money was. We can say the accessible funds to the Taliban are perhaps 0.1 to 0.2% of Afghanistan's total international reserves. Other funding has been undermined. The International Monetary Fund said on Wednesday that it would block Afghanistan's access to about $460 million in emergency reserves. The decision followed pressure from the Biden administration to ensure that the reserves did not reach the Taliban. Money from an agreement reached in November among more than 60 countries to send Afghanistan $12 billion over the next 4 years is also in doubt. Last week, Germany said it would not provide grants to Afghanistan if the Taliban took over and introduced Sharia law, and on Tuesday, the European Union said no payments were going to Afghanistan until officials clarify the situation. The central bank money and international aid, essential to a poor country where 3/4 of public spending is financed by grants, are powerful leverage for Washington as world leaders consider if and when to recognize the Taliban takeover. Afghanistan has about $700 million at the Bank for International Settlements, Mr. Ahmadi said. The bank, which serves 63 central banks around the world, said on Wednesday that it does not acknowledge or discuss banking relationships. The more than $400 million from the International Monetary Fund, which the Biden administration has sought to keep out of the Taliban's hands, is Afghanistan's share of a $650 billion allocation of currency reserves known as special drawing rights. There is currently a lack of clarity within the international community regarding recognition of a government in Afghanistan, as a consequence of which the country cannot access SDRs or other IMF resources, the organization said in a statement Wednesday. It added that its decisions were guided by the views of the international community.